Welcome, Crypto Fam, to number one daily Bitcoin pod. In today's show, I'll be sharing the latest technical analysis as Bitcoin price eyes sub 65,000 hurdles as metric hints Bitcoin's going to rip. Well, let her rip. I'll also be sharing the latest updates and as we do each and every day, whatever's trending in the news. And quoting Max Kaiser, we separated money from state with Bitcoin and everything is going to zero against Bitcoin. The cavalry is on the way. The fiat money epoch is ending. Preach. Also, Bitcoin ETFs end the 3-day skid with 254 million worth of inflows. Also, breaking news, Japan's Meta Planet scoops up another 108 Bitcoin, inching closer to a 1,000 Bitcoin target. We'll also be discussing British man sues council for 647 million over lost Bitcoin in a landfill. That's right, allegedly. This is pretty wild. I'll be breaking that down for you. We'll also be discussing Raoul Pal of Real Vision is suggesting a $250,000 price action. We'll also be discussing Bitcoin-centric strategy. Mikey Sailor envisioning MicroStrategy as the leading bank for crypto. That's right. He reveals a shock 100 trillion MicroStrategy endgame as Bitcoin price suddenly soars. We'll also be taking a look at the overall crypto market. All this plus so much more in today's show. If you're new to the channel, very important to smash the likes, then go ahead and subscribe and hit the bell icon. Turn on all notifications. It's free to do all three of those things. And yeah, let's get her rocking, shall we? Happy Sat Stack and Saturday. I'm your host, JV. Today is episode number 1785. It's October 12th, a very special date and a very special birthday we're going to be celebrating here soon. So make some noise for that. And yeah, the market is maintaining above $60,000. So let's kick it off with our market watch, as we do each and every day. So as you can see, we got Bitcoin trading above 63 G's, baby. And we have Ether trading just shy of 2,500. AVAX up 6%. Virtually everything in the green, minus XRP and Cardano. Womp womp. And checking out CoinMarketCap.com. Current crypto market cap sits at a 2.2 trillion market. And we have the Bitcoin market cap at 1.24 trillion. We got 49 billion worth of volume for the past 24 hours. And checking out the Bitcoin DOM is 56.7% with the Ether dominance all the way down to 13.5% and steadily declining. And checking out the top 100 crypto gainers past 24 hours, we got Nero up 20%. We got PopCat up 14.5%, and Aptos up 14%. Let me know which alts, if any, you're bullish on for the bull. And checking out the crypto bubbles, we get a visual perspective of the market, like an overview on the day. I'd say roughly 85% of the market in the green. And zooming out on the monthly for a broader perspective, 95% of the market in the green. Some very impressive gainers. SPX up 7,000%. Nero, another meme coin, up 5,000%. Hex up 262%. Sui up 118%. Bonk up 27%. WIF up 77%. And checking out the crypto greed and fear index. We're pretty much stuck in the middle still. 49 neutral. Yesterday, 32 in fear. And last month, a 31 in fear. And checking out the time chain calendar. We have 184,651 blocks to the next halving in 2028. And we're currently on block number 865,349. But who's counting besides JV? And you can currently exchange $1 for 1,583 sats. Naturally, the higher the price action of Bitcoin goes up against the dollar, the less sats you're going to be able to accumulate. So take advantage of these sat stacking Saturdays and stack sats accordingly or forever. Hold your peace, Laura. But anyways, yeah, let's continue. This headline reads, Bitcoin price eyes sub 65G hurdles as metric hints Bitcoin is going to rip. You see that? Here you're looking at a 1-hour chart. Bitcoin climbed to multi-day highs October 12th as markets mimic last weekend's dubious upside. Doobie, yes please. TradingView showed Bitcoin price action nearing 63.5, up 1.5% on the day, similar to the behavior of the weekend prior. Bitcoin made strong progress during the October 11th Wall Street trading session after testing 60,000 support for much of the week. And attempting to catch up with the U.S. equities, Bitcoin shrugged off the new U.S. inflationary pressures, even as the markets reduced bets on the extent of the future interest rate cuts. Quoting SKU Analytics, initial low was swept and clearly an ability to break down. So naturally, there's a reversion. And SKU flagged the relative strength index, known as the RSI, scoring above 50, and spot demand key pre requisites for a move up. Monthly and weekly open are always pretty pivotal. So very important for the buyers to reclaim for another shot at 65 Gs, which were less than 2,000 away. The monthly and weekly open levels correspond to 62.8 and 63.3, respectively, making the current spot price area a key battleground. Analyzing exchange order book liquidity, trading resource material, indicators added 2 more nearby Bitcoin price upside targets just below 65 Gs. Quoting him here, fire charts show Bitcoin support stacking above 63 thou, and it looks like the bulls want to challenge the 200-day moving average. If they are successful clearing the 200-day moving average, they will attempt to flip the technical resistance at the 2021 mid-cycle top at 64,900. And despite the tenuous reliability of the weekend Bitcoin price gains, another analyst, Mikhail Van de Pop, expected the good times to continue for the bulls next week. Quoting him here, Bitcoin took the liquidity beneath 59.5 and quickly ran her up. Probably a few days of consolidation before the next week is going to be significantly up. Breakout of 64.65 is the big breakout we're looking for before the new all-time high test and altcoin runs are happening. Meanwhile, stablecoin market cap boosts the Bitcoin bull run hopes. Let's go. Quoting another analyst, those trend lines are so clean. Once the purple line breaks to the downside, Bitcoin's gonna rip. Then wait for the downtrend to reverse. That's when the top is in. Let me know if you agree, disagree. And we'll be pulling up some of the live charts. But in other news, check this. $1 trillion of prime Florida real estate needs to be repriced. How much more coastal property is worth in a world where issuers suddenly refuse to insure or jack up the premiums 10x? Families that store the majority of their wealth in their homes are facing massive losses. Facts. Homes are not designed to store wealth long term. They're designed to be enjoyed and lived in. And yet homes are one of the most popular savings vehicles in the world. Bitcoin is designed to store value, but Bitcoin isn't tangible. You mean it can't be flooded by the ocean or blown apart by a tornado? That's right. And I could just hold it for zero cost without paying property tax or 1% of its value in insurance each year? Sounds pretty great to me. A lot of these people seem to have forgotten that cold stored Bitcoin is the king of all the assets. But something tells me they'll be reminded real soon. Very powerful post. I wanted to share that with you. And quoting the high priest of Bitcoin, Max Kaiser, we separated money from state with Bitcoin and everything is going to zero against Bitcoin. The cavalry is on the way. The fiat money epoch is ending. And quoting Samson Mao, the year is 2039 and 99.52% of the Bitcoin has already been mined. Desperate to increase MicroStrategy holdings, Mikey Sailor travels back in time to May 22nd, 2010 to deliver the 2 pizzas to Laszlo. Talk about time travel here, yo. Pretty wild. As you can see here, this is live in the flesh, the 1 hour chart. Look at that. I don't even know what the hell to call this, but a huge run up from that 58 bottom just the other day, maybe higher 58s. And currently we're at 63. So we have a hell of a run here, as you can see on the hourly chart. And we do have a target you need to be aware of sitting at 61.1. And zooming out from the 1 hour, we'll check out the 4 hour chart. And the 4 hour chart, also looking extremely bullish here. We do have a blue target sitting all the way at 81,300, which would take us right to price discovery. And we do have a green target all the way down at 41, and currently we're pretty much in the middle. And zooming out from the 4 hour, we'll also check out the 1 day. 1 day chart says, look at that big green candle yesterday. Today already forming another green. We have a rising wedge formation clearly. We have 2 bottom targets, one at 47.7 and one at 41.3. Zooming out from the daily, let's check out the weekly chart. Still has the sexy cup and handle pattern, which I believe is still in play for this year, sitting at 124,000. And zooming out from the weekly, take a quick look at the monthly. We've had 7 months of sideways trading action. Prior to that, we had 7 months of consecutive green Godzilla candles, and we're looking pretty lit. Let's see if we can continue that bullish momentum here in Q4, now that we're in October. Yeah, I mean, heading into 2025, this is the season of the bull, especially after the Bitcoin halving. And with that being shared, let me know some of your thoughts on where you feel the price action will likely take us next. I like that Bitcoin Doko. You think to back shared? Oh, as the email login for Satoshi. Interesting. Aloha Oracle. Darth Bitcoiner. I'm going to assume that's Darth Melda, or is that someone else? Did you take Darth Melda's name, or are you Darth Melda? I don't know. Let me know. But good to have you here either way. And welcome. Good to have the folks here. Keep the comments flowing. We're maintaining above 63, but let's continue with the headlines. Our next story here is we're going to discuss the ETF inflows, which read Bitcoin ETFs end the 3-day skid with $254 million inflow. US-based spot Bitcoin ETFs tally $253 million in net inflows October 11th, breaking 3 consecutive trading day of outflows. The Fidelity Wise Origin Bitcoin Fund led with a net inflow of 117 milli, with the ARK21 shares ETF saw 97 million. Farside investor data shows the Bitwise Bitcoin ETF raked in 38.8 million, its largest in 11 trading days, while Invesco and VanEck ETFs saw inflows too. Meanwhile, BlackRock's IBIT recorded a 0 flow on the day. You're no longer employee of the month, Mr. Fink. The award goes to Mikey Sailor of MicroStrategy. Unacceptable, Mr. Fink. Now go get your shine box. As did the Bitcoin ETFs issued by Franklin Templeton, Valkyrie, and Wisdom Tree. It was the 3rd largest combined inflow day in which BlackRock's IBIT failed to contribute. Unacceptable, Mr. Fink. Meanwhile, the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust bled another 22 milli. That's not to be surprised. The 253 million inflow more than covered the 140 million that left the Bitcoin ETFs between October 8th and the 10th, as GBTC continues with the outflows, right? It followed a 7.3% Bitcoin rally to a new local high of 63.3 yesterday, October 11th, before cooling off of 62.5 to the current prices, and now we're right back above 63. BlackRock continues to lead all the spot Bitcoin ETF issuers with almost 22 billion in total net inflows, while Fidelity is 15 million away from surpassing the 10 billion milestone. ARK21 shares and Bitwise are the only other 2 spot Bitcoin ETF issuers with net inflows of 2 billion or more. Total net inflows across all spot Bitcoin ETFs currently amount to almost 19 billion, which includes over 20 billion in outflows from GBTC. Jesus, Grayscale, what's going on here? Meanwhile, Ethereum ETF flows continue to struggle, hence the Ethereum dominance down, and hasn't been performing so well, especially in comparison to the Bitcoin. 7 out of 9 US-based spot Ether ETFs recorded a 0 on October 11th, marking the 3rd time that has happened in the last 5 trading days. The spot Ether ETFs combined for 0.1 million net outflow on October 11th, with all the inflows coming from Fidelity, according to Farside. The Grayscale Ethereum Trust bled almost 9 million. The 21 shares VanEck and Invesco ETFs have now seen at least 8 consecutive 0 days. Not a good look, quoting them here. In this moment, people are waiting, think they are in the wait and see mode because of the uncertainty into the election, which is right around the corner, right? November 5th. The regulatory stuff of the U.S., some of the socio-political stuff and everything is a little bit flat right now, relatively speaking, just like that Ethereum price action, flat as a mofo. But yeah, there you go, yo. MetaPlanet scoops another 108 Bitcoin, inching closer to their target of 1,000 Bitcoin. And if you're not familiar with MetaPlanet, it's ultimately the Japanese version of MicroStrategy. Check this out. In its 3rd purchase of October, MetaPlanet acquired an additional 108 Bitcoin at an average price 61,600. The firm's total reserves now stand at 748 BTC, valued at 46.5 million at the current prices of the market. Earlier in the month, the Tokyo-based firm purchased 107 Bitcoin October 1st for roughly 7 million, followed by another acquisition of 108 Bitcoin on October 7th for roughly 7 million. Additionally, October 3rd, MetaPlanet earned 23.9 BTC by selling put options and collecting the premium. MetaPlanet's overall average buying price for Bitcoin is 62.5, higher than the current market price. Well, actually lower compared to today. So today we're back at 63. Welcome to volatility. And as a result, if the firm were to liquidate its holdings today, it would now be in a gain. Haha, how do you like those apples? However, it seems MetaPlanet has no plans to sell. Why would they? The firm aims to accumulate at least 1,000 biddies, as confirmed by their CEO, Simon, in a recent interview. And with the latest purchase, MetaPlanet is ranked 17th amongst public companies holding the biddy. However, it remains 192 Bitcoin behind another Asian giant, Meitu, which holds 940 of the biddy in its reserves. If MetaPlanet continues the current buying spree, it may not be long before it becomes the largest Asian publicly traded company by Bitcoin reserves, surpassing Hong Kong's base Meitu. That said, the recent purchase had little immediate impact on the MetaPlanet stock price. Yahoo Finance said the stock rose a modest 0.5% Friday, closing at 955 yen, which is approximately $6.41. Despite this, the stock has been significant growth year to date, surging by almost 500%. Since the start of the year. It pays to adopt Bitcoin because guess what? They're getting attention every day from podcasters like me talking about their Bitcoin acquisition and strategy. Free publicity. It just makes sense to have Bitcoin on the balance sheet, especially if you're a publicly traded company. I mean, no brainer. Following in the footsteps of MicroStrategy. That's right. Meta Planet's Bitcoin strategy mirrors the US-based business intelligence firm Mikey Sailor's MicroStrategy, which holds the largest Bitcoin reserves in the world, more than 252,200 Bitcoin, currently valued at over $15 billion. In a recent interview, MicroStrategy CEO shared his ambitious goal to transform MicroStrategy into the leading Bitcoin bank and ultimately $1 trillion company. But I'm going to save the best for last because that's our featured story for later on. And we'll cut it right there. Anyways, this headline caught my attention. The headline reads, British man sues council for $647 million. Wow. Over lost Bitcoin in a landfill. Good Lord. So yeah, check this out. James Howell, an IT engineer for Newport, is suing Newport City Council in the UK for 495 million British pounds, which is 647 million USD, in damages after accidentally discarding a hard drive containing 8,000 Bitcoin. Oh no. According to Wales Online, Howells had made numerous attempts to retrieve the drive from the local landfill, but has met resistance from the council, which he repeatedly denied his request to evacuate the site. Now, if I had, hypothetically speaking, 8,000 Bitcoin lost in a landfill, I don't think I would evacuate the site until I discover my Bitcoin. Yeah, I mean, my new life mission would be recovering that damn Bitcoin. So I don't even blame him. But anyways, he made numerous attempts to retrieve the drive, but met the resistance. He mistakenly threw out the hard drive. Yikes, probably obviously the biggest mistake of his life, containing Bitcoin in 2013 during a household clear out. Was it worth the spring cleaning, brother? Losing the 8,000 Bitcoin, more than $500 million today's value. Sucks. Now worth almost £500 million. Here's the war of attrition. Howell's attempt to recover the lost drive for over a decade after mistakenly placing it in a bin liner, which ended up in a recycling center. In 2013, the value of his 8,000 Bitcoin was just £1 million, 1.3 mil. Not that much compared to 600 million, but for Christ's sake, that's the power of Bitcoin's purchasing power against the dollar. You know what I mean? Howells has assembled a team of legal experts to file the court claim, which is set to be heard in December. Good luck trying to get that kind of money from a court order. You know what I mean? I don't know about all that. But anyways, let's continue. Despite Howell's offering to give the council 10% of the recovered Bitcoin value if the hard drive is found, Newport City Council consistently opposed. Yeah, I would have said, stop being greedy. I'd be like, yo, Newport City Council, dump yard, whatever you're referred to, I'll give you 50%. We'll be partners. Let's find this mother fricker. You know what I mean? That'd be my thinking, at least. I'd really motivate them. The landfill in question has been flagged for breaches of its environmental permit, including elevated levels of asbestos, arsenic, and methane. The council argues that digging up the site could harm the surrounding area and claims its sounds like bullshit to me. Operation follows strict monitoring protocols. It's because you didn't bribe them with enough. If you would have said 50%, we're partners, let's go get this $500 million, maybe it would have been a different story. I'm speculating. Let me know your thoughts. But anyways, in 2022, Howell reportedly pitched an $11 million idea to locate and recover the lost hard drive, potentially surrounded by 110,000 tons of garbage. Oh my God. Talk about finding a needle in a haystack. The plan is active and would involve no cost to the council. Still, the Newport City Council remained firm in its decision to refuse, questioning the legality and feasibility of Howell's claims. And to keep the Bitcoin safe, it's important to store hardware wallet safely, as we know, and don't dump it into the garbage, for Christ's sake. Lesson learned. Whose mistake is that, though, at the end of the day? It's really his. I don't know if he'll have any remedies from the court through a lawsuit from the mine. You know what I mean? But who knows if there'll be any remedy. Let me know your thoughts, family. $39 billion to $1 trillion is crazy move. I believe I'll buy some MicroStrategy ASAP. You say $1 trillion companies, and I just hear Dr. Evil, 100 billion, zippity, dippity, Brazilian, gadillion. It's just ridiculous. Couldn't he just recover that with the keys? Apparently, he didn't have the keys. If you would have had the private keys, you don't need the device. Common sense, right? So I'm assuming he didn't have his private keys in a safe place, and maybe the device itself was the only way to recover the funds. I'm assuming. They didn't really get into the details on that. Somebody needs to make a statue of the commonerant, the landfill. Bull crap. Why do you need an HD? The Bitcoin is off the net. You need the key to unlock on the net. Bitcoin is virtual, not tied to the HW. What the frick? Full moon coming on Thursday. My prediction, Bitcoin pump till Thursday. I wonder what day he threw it out. Could be the next most famous day after the pizza day. Good point. He was using the sucker company to find unsecured Bitcoin on other people's old drives that threw away on purpose. Bitcoin owners need a U.S. bank approved to lend versus the biddy. Third-party custodian who charges fees, rehypothecation. Bitcoin's the pristine collateral. Current lenders, hodl be thy name. I think 11 years is later to too late. Sounds like someone isn't too bright. Kind of gives me a little bit of the Alex Jones vibes with the 10,000 Bitcoin gifted on a computer from Max Geyser. Device is already destroyed and rotted. 99.9%. Probably with 120,000 or 120 tons of garbage, whatever the hell the numbers were. It's virtually impossible to find. But if they would have took action maybe 10 years ago, more likely, the longer you wait, the less likely you're ever going to find that, baby. That's just the reality of it. But yeah, imagine losing what's worth today, like 600 million worth of Bitcoin. That's got to be terrifying, to say the least. Let me check the X feed again. Let's go. Thank you guys for the repost. We already got 1,000 people on the stream. Very special day today. It's October 12th. It is Chandy's birthday. We are going to be celebrating here shortly when we get done with the news. So stick around and spread the word. Repost the stream. You're going to notice it pinned at the top of the X profile. Anyone who repost with a comment or a quote will get reposted and shout it out, no doubt, because that's how we do. 63 G's here today. Stacking Saturday. Excuse me with the burps. Let me sip some more ginger. Puts the fire in the belly. Invest in good quantum computer mind for the Satoshi biddies. No more propaganda for JV. Give him a rest, please. Some scrapper melted it down that afternoon. Probably. But hey, I guess it makes for a great lawsuit. Maybe. But I highly doubt. I'm skeptical he'll receive anything from suing the dump. Like, the dump's just doing their job at the end of the day. Yeah, the Bitcoin will never move again. If he ever finds the corroded hardware, there's a documentary about him with Richard Hammond. Oh, the guy who lost these biddies? That's wild. That's one heck of an expensive hard drive. Oh, my God. Tell me about it. I used to live next door to an industry laundry. Used to help them clean shared drains because hundreds of $1, $2 coins would accumulate every month after being in work pockets. Wow. Kind of like change in a sofa back in the day when actually coins had some intrinsic value, right? Then Bitcoins are off the... Well, here's the good news. That makes our Bitcoin that much more valuable. That's the beauty when there's lost Bitcoin. That 1.1 million Bitcoin Satoshi has locked down, that's a beautiful thing. It makes our Bitcoin that much more scarce. The other estimated 5 million in lost Bitcoin, it's a beautiful thing. It just makes Bitcoin that much more scarce and your Bitcoin that much more valuable. Oh, that's the reality of it. I mean, at the end of the day. But anyways, fam, let's continue with the news. We still got a lot to share. Next story, Next story, we're going to discuss a $250,000 target as per Raoul Pal of, what's it called? Real Vision. From the headline, what I could read, Real Vision's Raoul Pal, who I believe is the CEO. He's a former Goldman Sachs associate, investor, guru. We call him the macro guru. And he's claiming Bitcoin hits $250,000 this cycle. He also believes, from my knowledge from watching some of his interviews, that Solana will outpace Bitcoin. Whether that's true or not is yet to be determined, but let me know your thoughts regarding his $250,000 price projection. I'll share some of my targets before we get into our feature story of the day. My personal price target for this cycle, I've said it before, I'll say it again. My bear scenario is 222,000 as per Bring Facts, right in alignment with our one and only Oracle, who's calling for 225,000 actually for this year. But my cycle peak, I think will occur next year, anywhere between 222 bear scenario and anywhere as high as 750,000, most likely in the $500,000 range, which is right also in alignment with Plan B stock to flow model. If you're not familiar with the stock to flow, it ultimately shows Bitcoin hovering at around 500,000 and above between now, 2024, and the next halving in 2028. Let me know if you agree or disagree. Now for our featured story of the day. Back-to-back headlines with Mikey Sailor. Bitcoin-centric strategy, Saylor envisions MicroStrategy as the leading bank for crypto. And this other headline from Forbes, Michael Saylor reveals shock $100 trillion MicroStrategy endgame as Bitcoin price suddenly soars. So let's break this baby down. I got two fantastic articles. I think they'll both be good, but let's start with the non-Forbes article. We'll give them first mover advantage. So yeah, a leading Bitcoin financial institution. We have Gautam Shangani, head of the digital asset at Bernstein. He shared insights from Saylor's discussion, indicating MicroStrategy core business strategy revolves around creating capital market instruments tied to the Bitcoin. This includes equities, convertible bonds, fixed income, and preferred stock. Saylor envisions a future where the company holds substantial financial instruments backed by the biddy, potentially amassing $100 billion to $150 billion in Bitcoin assets. Saylor elaborated his vision, I believe it was just yesterday over on X. He wrote, "This is the most valuable asset in the world. The ultimate goal is to be the leading Bitcoin bank or merchant bank, or you can call it a Bitcoin financial company." Very powerful words right there. And I already believe him because everything he says comes true. MicroStrategy founder outlined an ambitious financial trajectory, suggesting with its strategic growth, the company would reach a market valuation, check this, of 300 to 400 billion and enter the fixed income market while continuously acquiring more Bitcoin. He's buying it forever. Why? It's going up forever, Laura. So yeah, let's discuss it. This 100 trillion market size. The long-term belief is Bitcoin as the premier deflationary currency is central to the Saylor strategy. And we ain't talking about Popeye the Sailor, man. We're talking about Mikey Sailor. Bitcoin accounts for approximately 0.1% of the global financial capacity or capital. But Saylor predicts this figure can rise to 7% by 2045, corresponding to a price of 13 million per coin. That's USD. Let's go. Bernstein analysts noted that if the U.S. capital markets permit MicroStrategy to raise funds through various financial instruments, the company would pursue opportunities to profit from the difference between the U.S. dollar capital markets and Bitcoin. And when discussing the scalability of MicroStrategy's debt strategy, Saylor expressed confidence, stating, "I think it's infinitely scalable." Let me repeat. I think it is infinitely scalable. I don't think we'll have any problem raising 100 billion or even 200 billion of capital after that. Easy peasy. Saylor believes Bitcoin is a $1 trillion asset class, preach, poised to expand significantly, projecting it can grow to 10 trillion and ultimately reach 100 trillion in market size. Now, they say the total addressable market of all the financial capital in the world is like 700 to 900 trillion. So if Bitcoin maybe captured, what is that, 10% of that? We're talking about 100 trillion. Yeah, roughly 10%, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. That's just my math in my head here. The support of his case for Bitcoin's growth, Saylor presented a detailed crypto market analysis, predict an annual growth rate of 44% over the next 4 years, gradually tapering off at 30%, ultimately expecting the Bitcoin to return to outperform the S&P 500 by 8%. And at this time, Bitcoin's trading above 63 Gs. Let's tap into the Forbes article. Saylor reveals shock 100 trillion MicroStrategy endgame as the Bitcoin price suddenly soars. Let's see what we can find interesting here. There's the guy right there. There's the man of the hour. You're looking at the employee of the month for the entire Bitcoin network. You got to love it. My question for you guys, how many of you got to front run Michael Saylor, meaning you got involved in Bitcoin prior to 2020? Because if so, he works for you. How cool is that? You got Mikey Sailor working for you. So yeah, Bitcoin is the most valuable asset in the world. Saylor began buying Bitcoin at the software turned Bitcoin acquisition vehicle back in 2020, told Bernstein analysts in an interview. It was revealed by Bernstein digital asset lead. The client has been seen in the block. Here's the end game. We're discussing this 100 trillion end game. Check it. Quoting Saylor. The end game is to be leading Bitcoin bank or merchant bank, or you can call it a Bitcoin finance company, Saylor said, with MicroStrategy creating Bitcoin capital market instruments across equity, convertible fixed income, and preferred shares. If we end up with 20 billion of converts, 20 billion of preferred stock, 10 billion of debt, and say 50 billion of some kind of debt instrument and structures instrument, we'll have 100 billion and 150 billion. Saylor has just built up a hoard of over 252,000 Bitcoin like it ain't no thing, worth now 15.7 billion as MicroStrategy began issuing debt to fund the Bitcoin purchases. A strategy could mean MicroStrategy gets margin called with a demand for extra capital if the Bitcoin price should fall below a certain level, but we all know the Giga Chad's the Giga Chad for a reason. I think it is infinitely scalable. I think that's the key right here, and that's what's fantastic. I don't have any problem seeing how we could raise 100 billion, 200 billion. The asset class is going to 10 trillion, even 100 trillion. So just let me know your thoughts. With Bitcoin reaching 100 trillion market cap, where do you think that would take the Bitcoin price action? And don't be shy. Let me know. And welcome to the Q&A segment of the live stream. We're at the top of the hour. We got 1,143 people here live and in the flesh. And it's a very special day today, October 12th, Chandy's birthday, #1 Bitcoin music channel. You already know we're here to celebrate. And now we just need to summon her to the stream. And don't forget, there's a live poll up. Let me know Bitcoin 2024 Q4 price peak. That poll is up on the YouTube. If you're watching on X right now, I encourage you to also join us on YouTube to participate in the chat you see on the screen, participate in the poll, and also make sure to subscribe. #1 Bitcoin channel. Hands down. Hands down. But there you go, yo.